Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or just a plain old welcome if you are new around here. This video is part of a series that I'm doing looking back on all of the projects that I worked on throughout design school. So it's a bit of a walk down memory lane looking at some cringeworthy work that I did back then. But it's been fun to look back on and to think about what I'd do differently now that I have 8 years of industry experience behind me. So please join me as we look through some of the work that I did in my second year at design school. So the second year of the design degree at Massey University in Wellington, where I went, is when you start to specialize. So the first year, if you watched the last video, was much more general. The projects were much more like artsy. And the second year is where I felt like we started to get into doing the kind of work that was more representative of work we might eventually kind of do in our careers, you know, that sort of thing. So this is when I took my graphic design class, and these were some of, like, I'm still quite proud of the projects that I worked on here. So the first one was a poster for a play. The play was called OE, and we had to make a poster that would be like stuck up on the streets to advertise the play and give people information about it. And OE means overseas experience. It's like a thing that New Zealanders go and do. And I ended up with this theme of a passport and stamps, where I like made a lot of these stamps. I bought the stamping kit, and I remember having so much fun like stamping things. A lot of this stuff was actually done with fonts though too. It was kind of like a mix, probably some of the better Photoshop work that I was doing in design school. We got a copy of the play to read through, and like that's why a lot of the stuff here is, I mean, fucking terrifying, but it was taken from things said in the play. And I even did things like, you know, at the top of your passport there's the little dots. I like made it spell out. And yeah, I was really proud of this. My poster, I did like a 3D thing where only one side of it was meant to be stuck to the wall. And the other side was just an image of a passport, which is loading slowly. Though I had put stoner instead of passport because, you know. And then when it was stuck on the wall, it was meant to kind of like flap around in the Wellington wind, and you'd see like the passport opening and closing. So yeah, that was that project. And I was really proud of it. We're really proud of where I ended up. The second one was, I think we had to do a campaign about earthquakes, because Wellington is quite an earthquakey city, if you didn't know. And yeah, it was a thing about getting people to put together a survival kit. So mine was based on the game of life, and it sort of folded up into 4. I don't know if you can quite like imagine that there. And again, I've done this very distressed texture to it because it was meant to be like, you know, like in an earthquake zone, that sort of thing. And I copied the same styling of stuff as the game of life had. Then on the inside was, I had like a little sticker sheet with it, and basically the game was you'd go and collect all the things you need for your survival kit and then stick the sticker on here. So I like the idea of it. Obviously looking back at it now, there's lots of things that I would do differently in the design itself. Why are these drop shadows quite so harsh? Why is there so much distortion and like distressed to it? This font could use some improvement. Same with the way it's fitting in these cards is not great. Probably could have used some variation in the fonts that I was using here. Like I didn't have to use this one absolutely everywhere, you know? But yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. It was a fun graphic design project. And I think these 2 projects is what really made me fall in love with graphic design and think that that's what I wanted to do with my career. But another class that I did in this semester was animation, which was also very fun. I wonder if I can play you a little bit of my final project. So it was like a creation myth. So we had to do like something being created, if that makes sense. And oh wow, you can see here I've done the typical thing where I've done final, and there's one with exclamation marks. I'm not sure what the actual one is, but we're just gonna play this one. This is like 320p apparently. I don't know if it has music or not. Oh, it does apparently. So I think I did, like I said in my last video, I tried to bring music into everything. I think for this one I was doing the creation of like a band member. And I think, if I remember correctly, all of this might have been made in Flash. Yes, and I had made these, again, very distressed pieces. And it was basically turning this regular person into a pop star. Manufactured music was the theme. And this was meant to be like auto-tuning it to smooth it out. This was a lot of work. This was so much animation work, and obviously it's, you know, not great. That's a Cobra Starship song playing in the background there too. Okay, we don't need to watch the whole thing this, but then it ends with him like being kicked off when the CD sales start to end, and then you see a big pile of them. Remember, this file was so huge because I'd used this distressed stuff on everything, and yeah, it just really made for huge file sizes. So that was one animation project. And then another one we did was a music video, and I had this up on my YouTube channel, I think. And I used, like, just to give some context before I play it, this one had to be stop motion. And I really liked painting with light. I thought that was really fun, like, thing that I could make use of. So I had these like glow sticks, and my dad was helping me in our garage. I remember one holidays when I went home and was working on it in a study break. Let's give it a play, shall we? And I'm just going to turn the volume down because I don't want to be, like, get copyrighted. So we had to pick a clip of a song and then, yeah, sort of make up a little story to go along with it and tell the story through stop motion animation. So my story was this tape was really sad because someone put another tape into its case. It hops onto this little glowing surfboard and off it goes onto these, like, sound waves, I guess is what they were trying to be. So this was a lot of Photoshop composition. I took these pictures, like, these are actual pictures of these blue waves and things, but obviously the little tape has been added on there in Photoshop. Let's move along a little bit. So he gets off his surfboard and he sees an empty case, and then he's like, yay, and runs towards it. And then another tape goes into it. And then I think he looks really sad. Yep. Aww. That was fun. Again, that was a lot of work. I, like, you know, half a semester spent on those 1 minute 20 seconds that you just saw just then. But that class kind of made me think that maybe I wanted to get into doing video. And so honestly, this class here was kind of the start of this YouTube channel that I'm doing now. If I hadn't taken this class, I might not have been interested in making videos, you know, even though it was many years later that I started my channel. What else have we got to look at here? We had Creative Studio again. I don't remember what the brief was for this one, but this looks kind of matrixy. I think it was a comment on us spending too much time on our computers and how we should log off because look what's waiting for us, all the beautiful color on the other side. As part of this class also, we had to do a logo apparently. I don't remember exactly what the brief was for this. I think it might have been that we got given, or had to find something in nature and then do vector work around that, and I ended up with this pointy leaf that kind of looks like an Adidas logo. I don't know. I don't think this would pass these days as a... Is there any more pages? No, that's literally it. I don't think you could just hand this in as like a final result of a logo brief in design school these days. I think they'll probably expect more like versions of the logo. I don't know, seeing a whole brand system around it. I think that as design software has gotten easier and easier to use, probably what has been expected of design students becomes a lot more because it's so much easier to like bring ideas to life, you know. So yeah, you're probably expected to show a lot more in the results. What's this one? Okay, I think this one, I've called a book in the file. So I think we had like a short story or something that we had to lay out the text of. It was kind of like a typography thing, and I had them like glowing, and I went with this negatives theme. I don't know why, but it looks like a lot of photoshopping went into this. And I remember destroying some negatives during it as well, so I don't know. In the second semester, I can't get either of these things to open, which is really sad. Actually, would this one open? So let's give it a try. It did. Y'all, this is the first website that I ever designed. We used Dreamweaver to create it, Photoshop to design it, and we like, you know, had to cut slices out of everything. Look at that, it's even got hover states. Oh man, definitely wasn't responsive at all. Nope. Very, yeah, thin screen here. What I made was a website for the hub, which was like this venue in Nelson where I was from. And as you can tell, you've probably seen this theme come through. I was really into like distressed looking things. So that was, you know, a thing that I was still using. And I hated the color orange, but I remember I used it because I think the Hub's logo used orange. Wonder how many of these page, oh dang. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to remember what the password was for this. Ooh, can I actually sign up though? No, apparently not. Oh, that's so cool though. This was, yeah, the first website that I designed. These days, of course, I'm sure students are learning how to make websites responsive. They're probably not relying on imagery so much like this. You know, you're probably using SVGs and things like that. But still, it's cool that this is the first site that I ever designed and built, and that I still have it. The second one was a Flash project, so I can't get it to open, but this is a look at the Illustrator file for it. We had to do like a interactive tutorial, and so I made a thing about how the flux capacitor from Back to the Future worked. Yep. And I drew this thing myself in Illustrator, and yeah, I remember you clicked through and it like went through a series, but yeah, can't get that one to work because I don't want to install a Flash player. Last project that I have to show you from my second year was from a marketing class. This class is probably part of the reason why I ended up as a marketing designer, to be honest, because I remember really loving this class. The tutor was great. I felt like I had a lot of support in it, and I really enjoyed projects. The first project we had to do was analyze a brand, like take a brand and like learn information about it. And I chose Moccona, which is a coffee brand. I think it might be just in, is it just in Australia or New Zealand? I don't know if it exists elsewhere in the world. But yeah, this is like a mood board of who the customer is of Moccona. And then we had to do like a critique of the packaging and a SWOT analysis, all that sort of thing. And I remember I actually got to talk to the director of this TV ad here, which was really fun. Yeah, my tutor encouraged us to reach out, like, and do research. And I managed to get a hold of this director and got on the phone with him. I remember it being really fun that I got to actually talk to someone who had created something that I was analyzing. And then the second part of the project, this involved us making our own brand and marketing like campaign for something. And we were doing this in pairs. I'm pretty sure we did it in pairs. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But anyway, what we were doing was this project for an ice block brand. Ours was based on like the Calippo, obviously, and we decided that you'd have, this was like embossed on the top of it. This was our brand. I feel like I remember not wanting to put the blue there because it was my instinct just to have the color sort of like overlaid on top, but the tutor saying that it didn't stand out enough, so I should add something that contrasted it more. I don't know why that sticks out in my memory. But yeah, our USP was that our ice blocks were made up of 40% fresh crushed organic fruit. So yeah, this was our brand. It was very like, yeah, organic but fun, I suppose, with these splatters coming off it, that sort of thing. Does it have anything else? Recycled packaging, well done. We didn't have to make anything to go with this. Oh yeah, beginning of the ice block is already out. I remember the thing that I hated about Calippos was like it needing to melt a little bit before you could push that first bit out of the package. And so the idea here was that you'd take off the lid and it would like reveal the top part of the ice block so you could start eating it straight away. I would still really like that to exist. So yeah, that was my first foray into marketing design, or I guess it was more brand or like product creation. But yeah, this whole class was my first experience with marketing. All right, that's what I have to show you for my second year of university. This was the year that, I think this was the year I liked most of university. I did really well in my classes. I remember the lowest grade I got this year was an A-, so I put a lot of effort into things. I felt like I had to really come back from the first year where I struggled quite a bit to really understand what I was supposed to be doing here in design school. And yeah, second year was where I found my feet a little more and started to discover who I was wanting to be as a designer. So that was really fun. Hope you enjoyed seeing that. I'm really excited that I found that first website that I've ever made. That's really fun to look back on now. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.